if you look at them, it's not just one organism, it's actually two organisms. So that's a belief with one of the culture that we have in South Africa when it comes to the river Euphorbia. So just observing the bush today, just enjoying the beautiful landscape and the beautiful vegetation that we're currently having. And today I'm gonna be taking you on a journey, and we're gonna explore some of the bushes and then get up close and personal and get to talk about the trees, some of the special species that we have around the reserve here in Sibuya. So I just stumbled upon one of the Euphorbia species that we have in the reserve. So right over here, this is what we call the honey Euphorbia, Euphorbia tetragantha. So it's one of the Euphorbia species. So in the reserve, we have got 3 different types of Euphorbias, and this is one of the Euphorbias. So these are some of the trees that you can normally find in the coastline around in South Africa. So in the Eastern Cape and parts of the KZN. And I always wonder why they call it a honey Euphorbia. So they do have flowers which they normally would produce, and then the bees can actually get the nectar from it. But they normally say the honey which the bees produce has got a little bit of a bitter taste in it. So it's not the best honey that you can say you can enjoy. But they call it honey Euphorbia. All right, everybody, right over here, we've got one of the other Euphorbia trees that we have in the reserve. So right over here, this is what we call the river Euphorbia, Euphorbia triangularis. So in South Africa, within one of the cultures, the Xhosa tradition, there is a belief that when a family is having twins born within the family, so they're going to collect almost like the same size, same height, almost like same age trees, and then they're gonna plant it somewhere around the yard. And then what they say there's a correlation or a link between the kids and the trees. So that's a belief with one of the culture that we have in South Africa when it comes to the river Euphorbia. All right, everybody, we've got such an interesting organism right over here. So this is what we call the old man's beard. So you normally find them growing in an area whereby the air has got a very good quality. So if you look at them, it's not just one organism, it's actually two organisms coexisting together. So there's a mutualistic relationship between a fungi and algae. So what happens is that the green algae is the one that brings about the food. So it's the one that use water and the sunlight to photosynthesize and produce some carbohydrates and then produce food for both. And then the fungi is the one that gives the supporting structure of the old man's beard. So just looking at it growing all the way this long, it also has a very slow growing process. So seeing one this long, it really took a very long time for it to be this long. All right, everybody, we've got another species of the Euphorbias. Right over here, we've got the valley bush Euphorbia, Euphorbia grandidian. So it's one of the Euphorbia species. But one thing that is a bit distinctive about this one, specifically to the valley bush Euphorbia, it's got some spines on it, on the branches right over there, which are a little bit interesting to see, especially when you get to see it a little bit up close. And just like the other ones, it also does have the milky latex. So if I break this branch right over here, there will be milky latex that will come out of the tree, which will cause some irritation on my skin. So I will have to be very careful at it. All right, everybody, we've got another interesting tree right over here. So this tree right over here is what we call the sneeze wood. So this tree is known to produce one of the hardwoods when it comes to the trees that we have in South Africa. So back in the days, they used to use this tree to build these other woods which they used to put on the railway, and it's also known to be used to build the chassis of the ox wagons, because it was even tougher than steel. So it can be used for things like the fence post. While you're stay close to the river, you can also build jetties with this. So that wood that you normally find around the jetties is from this tree. It's almost like forever wood. So it gets the name sneeze wood. Back in the days when they were busy using it while they're cutting it, it produces a dust. So that dust will go through your nostril, and then most people who used to deal with it, they will sneeze a lot and it will cause some sinus issues. So that's why they also call it sneeze wood. So I'm just waiting for a nice beautiful sunset going to occur on the other side, and with the clouds just makes it a little bit more special and even beautiful. It's almost like a nature painting. So just gonna spend some time out here and just enjoy a beautiful sunset.